N Vision 74 concept might actually be happening. Concept cars typically just don't happen. The FT1 turned into the Supra, but it wasn't exactly what we all wanted. But then there's other cases like the BMW i8, which became a reality pretty close to what the concept car was. Concept cars are typically used for engineers and designers to really get their feet wet in different design concepts, languages, and also at the same time technology. It's like a practice round for the big leagues. Most of the time, these concept cars don't see the light of day as a production car. But Hyundai just keeps surprising me, man. A car brand that was literally the laughingstock of the automotive industry for decades, they have completely turned themselves around and shown the world that they can learn from mistakes and just keep on getting better. They keep making really smart business decisions. When they release something with some cool styling, they lean into it and they build it. The Ioniq 5 is a great example. It has very much this cyberpunk kind of look to it. It's an EV, it feels futuristic. It's like a Cybertruck, but actually being delivered. Sick burn. But anyway, it looks really cool going down the road. And I want you to put yourself in somebody's shoes in like 2003, where they owned a Hyundai Tiburon, which was the most sporty car Hyundai made at the time, which was like a 17-second car. Front wheel drive, you couldn't do that much to them. And imagine telling that owner that they built this and this is the same company. I just wouldn't be able to believe it. There's just no way. But I have some speculation about it that kind of worries me. And Hyundai still has an uphill battle, I think, with most of the car enthusiast community, but they're getting closer to being more accepted. The N brand in particular has just completely shocked a bunch of automotive journalists, including myself. I couldn't believe how good the Hyundai Veloster N was, and I couldn't believe how good the Elantra N was. And I was really impressed with the value per dollar and things of that nature. Plus their warranties are like incredible. And I actually did some work with the Hyundai TCR race team with Hyundai's video series on YouTube, and I got to host it and go to the races and check them out. And I personally didn't know how successful Hyundai was at racing. They had won the TCR class like 4 years in a row, and I had no idea. Plus they did rally, and like they're really showing the world that they're serious about this. And then after all of this, they might have arguably dropped online the most successful concept car of all time when it comes to reaction from the internet. Almost zero negative feedback. I mean, there's nobody that I talked to in the automotive circle that was like, yeah, screw that thing. Everybody seemed to really dig it and really like it, even if there were things they didn't like about it. Overall, the car was a success for public relations for Hyundai. It made people look at Hyundai and go, oh, they are doing some cool things. With the DeLorean styling, a cyberpunk vibe, and a crazy rear-wheel drive performance, there wasn't much not to like about it. But then if you dig deeper, the 74 in the name is actually a callback to the 1974 Pony Coupe concept that Hyundai did, which I had no idea about, to be honest, and you can really see the resemblance. And during my time working with the Hyundai representatives during the whole race team stint, I asked them point blank to their face, are you going to build this car? You need to build this car. And all I got in return was a smile, a brief hesitation, and said, we don't know yet. And I'm like, come on, man, please. I truly believe if the rumors are true that this car is going to be greenlit, it would be a massive success for this car company. I think a lot more people would take Hyundai more seriously, especially because it's rear-wheel drive. Because the Veloster N and the Elantra N are both fantastic cars, but they're front-wheel drive, so a lot of enthusiasts just completely discredit them. So Car and Driver claimed that a Korean news outlet that they were going to greenlit the N Vision 74. And that really made me step back and go, I don't know if it's gonna happen, mostly due to one thing, the power plant. The power plant of this car is very complicated, has lots of engineering behind it, and it's very impressive, but I don't see it being a viable option for mass production. So if you don't know how the N Vision 74 works, here's a brief explanation of it. I'm really oversimplifying this. So it uses 2 electric motors in the back, which simulates a virtual differential. And then it's powered by a 62.4 kilowatt battery pack, which is then powered by a hydrogen fuel cell, which then acts as a generator for some extra range. But this all adds up to 670 horsepower in a Hyundai. That is a ton of power for that thing. It'd just be cool to be in a 2-seater sports car like that with that 80s vibe. And DeLorean always says they're coming back, and I don't really see it happening anytime soon because they always say they're coming back. So in a perfect world where this car is officially greenlit, like I said, this is all speculation, but I think it's going to happen. In a perfect world, just for fun, what do I think they're gonna power the N Vision 74 with if it goes into production? So let's start with a very basic solution. I think they could start off with the 6-cylinder turbo engine that they use in the Genesis sedans, and also similar to the Kia Stinger. And I know the Kia Stinger was kind of a flop and it's kind of unfortunate, but the thing is about that car is that it was like almost there. It was a very good car. It drove very well. The 6-cylinder actually can make a lot of power when modified. I drove one that made like 450 wheel horsepower and it was an absolute hoot. But it was overshadowed by its competition. In its price range, there's a lot of other options you could choose from, especially like BMWs. But the Stinger was fun to drive, it really was. And then I drove the similar engine in the Genesis G70, I believe, and it was a ton of fun and it made a lot of sense to have them in that car. But if you put that in a 2-seater, that would be extraordinary. If you wanted to have it more as a futuristic concept, then you could also combine the hybrid system somehow, I'm not an engineer, with the 6-cylinder turbo engine. Kind of similar to how the 918 did it with the V8 and the electric motors back in 2014, 2015. But, you know, trickled down, not as complicated, but it would work that way to where you would have a hybrid system in it, you would have EV at low speed, and then the electric motors would assist that 6-cylinder engine to spool up the turbo faster, or something along those lines, just a theory. And then the other option is the V8 that Genesis had in their sedans too. I believe it was a 5-liter, don't quote me on it, but that would obviously be cool to have this car have a freaking V8 in it with an electric powertrain, or just the V8 by itself. Either way, it would look really cool. Having an inline 6 or a V6 or something along those lines, it would suit this car's appearance and what it kind of stands for. I don't see them using hydrogen. I just don't think it's the logical option when it comes to logistics and people buying the car. If people look at this car and say, I really want that car, but it's hydrogen, and they go on their phone and go, I don't even know where hydrogen stations are. It's hard enough trying to find E85 half the time. So it would be like going through those E85 apps, but times 100, or EV charging stations. Because if you did the hybrid system, you could still plug it in at home, charge that system, but then have the benefits of the range and the suitability of a traditional gasoline engine. But I know that the world and the regulations are saying we need to go towards EV, and that is also another option, even though it's not the option I want. But the Ioniq 5 proved that an EV with cyberpunk styling could really be a contender in the market. When I see those cars, I think they're really cool. Out of all the EVs that are in that mid-tier range for pricing, it's probably my favorite one when it comes to aesthetic and look and everything else. That's my personal opinion, and it also explains why I like the N Vision 74 so much, because they have a very similar front end. The Ioniq N was also very cool, but if we had to, you know, pick which one would go into production, I would choose the N Vision 74 all day long. It wouldn't even be a competition. Also, Hyundai, if you're listening, I would absolutely love to fly to Korea and actually drive the N Vision 74. I know that sounds sounds absolutely preposterous, but if you want me to make a video on it, I would absolutely do it. All in all, apparently we might hear some rumors at the end of this month. It is May 2023 at the time, and maybe they will officially announce that it's gonna be made. My biggest fear of the 74 is them not embracing the crazy concept styling and having to just really nerf it due to safety and stuff like that. That would really stink. And I love like the turbofan wheels and all that sort of stuff. If they can keep it as close as possible, I think it'll sell like crazy. Shoot, even I would probably sell some stuff to get this car. I think it is super cool. At the end of the day, the N Vision 74, I really hope that this rumor is true. I think it would be a huge step for Hyundai in the future to build something like this and really capture people's imagination and understand that it's not just the Japanese and Asia that can build really cool sports cars. I think that Hyundai is on the right track to being an even bigger contender if they build this car, and if they build it similar to the concept styling wise and make it more viable for the masses to use it around town and on road trips. Other than that, what did you guys think of the N Vision 74? Put it down in the comment section below, and also please make sure to hit the like button. It really helps me out in the algorithmic world on YouTube. The algorithm has absolutely been annihilating my videos lately. It has been really tough on my end, to be honest with you. So any help whatsoever, I really appreciate it. Also, my Detail brand Patterson Car Care has an all new look with brand new packaging, new nozzles, and our formulas are made right here in the USA. They're all original formulas, and if you're interested, we also have samples on the website if you want to give it a try. And on that note, I typically upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.